And welcome back. Yes, it's me again, Ghost Critic at his Comic Book Corner, and we have a bumper double issue this week. Due to all that awful snow just before Christmas, we didn't get a delivery, so I've got 2 weeks worth of comics to get through. And so let's get right on with it with Green Lantern number 61. Take a look at this cover. Who do you see? Well, we see on here the Red Lantern entity, Butcher. We see the Red Lantern leader, Atrocitus, and we see Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. But guess what? Hal does not appear at any point in this comic. It's like someone, you know, gave the cover artist an idea of what was going on inside. He thought Green Spectre, I know it's not, his name's just Spectre, but he's green and kind of white as well. I'll put Hal on the front instead, just to remind everyone that this is a Green Lantern comic. Well, it isn't this week. This is all about the Red Lanterns. This is Butcher, the red entity, going out looking for a host, just like all the rest of the coloured lanterns have been doing. And following him is his Atrocitus, because obviously he wants to contain the entity back in its lantern. And we have the Spectre, who is obviously can feel all this rage that's going around the earth, and he is wanting to met out some kind of vengeance, which is his job basically within the DC universe. So the Butcher finds the father of a murdered daughter, who is at this moment at the execution of his daughter's killer. And so yes, this guy's definitely full of rage, and you get the feeling that at the start maybe it's going to go into the guy that is being executed. That would sound a bit more like it, but then you think no, that's probably a bit more of the Yellow Lantern fear. But no, he's actually going for the father. He's so enraged, this man. The killer's taunting him, his rage is getting bigger and bigger, and out comes the Butcher. Yes, you're a perfect vessel for me. There's so much rage inside of you. And just as he's going to, the Spectre swoops in and tries to put a stop to the entity. So there's all these beautiful drawn fight scenes, which by I think it's Mank, isn't it? M-A-H-N-K-E, however you want to pronounce that one. His artwork in here is lovely. It has been for issue after issue. Just as the Spectre is going to put a stop to the entity, Atrocitus leaps in. They get the entity back into the lantern, and then there's some weird kind of pseudo-philosophical conversation at the end between the Spectre and the Red Lantern Atrocitus about how the Spectre, you know, he sees everything in black and white, he doesn't put emotion into his judgments, and, you know, the Spectre goes, well, I'm here to judge you as well, and he can't. All we get is the line, I think it is, oh, I understand now. And basically we get a glimpse into the Spectre knows more than us at the moment, and basically he realises that Atrocitus and the Red Lantern are going to be needed to fight with Krona and the rest of the Lantern Corps. I mean, for leaving us on such a cliffhanger last issue with Krona, and we don't see, or we got one mention of him in this issue, you feel like this is going to be such a letdown of a title, but this, I actually think the Red Lantern Corps is badass. I just love this. I was very entertained by it. John's writing is just knocking it out of the park as usual. The art is just beautiful to look at. As a kind of insular one shot, it's another layer on the whole Brightest day, all the colours of the lanterns type deal. So yes, definitely give it a look. Next on the agenda we have got, if I can show that properly, that's Brightest Day number 17. Yeah, DC are doing this weird whole white cover with just a character on, so it doesn't look very good on screen, but hopefully you can see that. Brightest Day 17. Okay, as usual, it picks up 3 threads. Firstly, for the first two or three pages, and I discount this as a page really, because it's a double splash. I just count it as one page because it's basically telling us nothing. It's just a pretty picture for Ivan Rice to draw. But Firestorm, you know, realises that no, they haven't actually blown up our universe. More's the pity, or at least the Brightest Day universe. And they're actually in the Anti-Monitor universe, and all the darkness is actually his army of shadows, which Firestorm blasts away, and they see Planet Quad, and they make their way to Planet Quad. That's it. That's all we get. Not incredibly exciting, not incredibly dramatic. Yes, a kind of little snippet of information giving you there that, phew, they haven't blown up the universe. Bit throwaway, as usual. Then my favourite part of the issue is the Boston Brand, Dead Man. For me, it is the linchpin and what is keeping me still reading this title. I've known of Dead Man, not so much about Boston Brand. I've seen him in the cartoons. He looks like a really quirky, sometimes funny character. Obviously there's been a lot of tragedy in his life, as so many of these superheroes do. And it's such... I really like the character. Let's just leave it at that. We find Boston Brand and Dove. They've obviously been doing the do, enjoying themselves, waking up for breakfast, having hamburgers yet again, and Boston Brand decides to go and see his grandfather. And there are some really touching scenes here. This is his grandfather that he played with as a child, had so much love for, and then as he grew up, you know, he became hard and callous, never used to go and visit him anymore. So he's wary about visiting his grandfather after all these years, especially since he's meant to be dead. But of course his grandfather embraces him with open arms, his grandson is back, and they have a lovely heart-to-heart moment, and it is very nice. Cut away from that, and oh, do you remember? There's Hawkman and Hawkgirl in this title. I forgot. Yes, they are attached to this skeleton ring of all their old bodies, and they're opening a gateway, and whoosh! It's all about whooshing in here, soaring in this week. Star Sapphire on her entity comes crashing in, saving the day. It all felt a bit anticlimactic, to tell you the truth, and that's the problem with this story, with this title in general, because it is so bitty. You know, you don't see Hawkman and Hawkgirl for weeks, and you forget what their cliffhanger just was, so it felt a bit flat. Star Sapphire zooming in and saving the day. But I suppose there's a kind of little twist to keep you enticed in it, in that the entity sees Hawkgirl's mother and decides, no, she's empty of love, you need lots of love, I'll go and pick you as my host body, and blah blah blah, big cliffhanger. She's now the embodiment of the purple, is it purple? What colour is the Star Sapphire? They're kind of pinky purple, aren't they? Whatever colour it is, she's now the host of that entity. And it stops, so don't expect to see anything more of that. We'll probably get some Aquaman now, and we'll get some more Boston Brand. We might get Martian Manhunter again. You won't see them for ages. Forget about it. And then right at the end, back to Boston Brand. Lovely. They decide to go out on a bike ride. His grandfather always used to like going out on bikes. Hasn't for many years. So Boston Brand does a really nice thing. Sticks them in a sidecar. Uses the White Lantern to make a ramp. And they go flying off. And oh my god, what's that? The White Lantern ring is charging. Maybe Johns is throwing us a red herring here. Or is it just so obvious that the White Lantern's purpose, hence it's recharging, is just to make people enjoy their life, to give them joy, Wouldn't that be nice for a ring? Oh. Anyway, this was half and half for me. Boston Brand bit, yes, very, very good. Firestorm part, not much of to actually say anything good or bad about it. Hawkman and Hawkgirl, falls flat. What do we have next? We have Justice Society of America number 46. Thank God the artwork's changed. Oh, and because of that, it makes this story so much easier and slightly more enjoyable to read, but only in the sense that, you know, I'm seriously thinking of dropping this. I really am. This is a whole different video. Let's just concentrate on this comic. Right, what we have is this Dr. Chaos. He arrives on the train after killing everybody on it. He has this mysterious box that he's asking this guy. He must press it at 10 o'clock. Zip over to the chaos that the JSA made of this city, you know, and they're trying to rebuild it. And we have Flash J. He's running around, he's not having any rest, he's trying to sort everything out himself. He feels hugely responsible and he's wearing himself out. Everyone's telling him this, but do superheroes listen? Of course they don't. They just keep on going, wearing themselves out. You know something bad is going to happen. We've got Green Lantern, the JSA version. He's feeling very sorry for himself. He's using all his powers up to keep the Starheart in check so he can't heal himself. Hence, he's a cripple in a wheelchair. Boo-hoo. Whatever. Then we see Obsidian. Yes, he's really mad that Daddy's in a wheelchair and he's a cripple, and so he goes after Scythe, but you know, they're stopped by lightning. And then we have this death threat to the mayor. Yeah, it's all going on in here, but it just feels uninteresting. It doesn't seem to make, at the moment, I suppose, any sense. It's only, like I said at the start, it's only serviceably better because the artwork is nicer to look at. The last two issues have been horrendous. What else is to say? Oh, the conclusion, the next line, next issue line, things get worse, just fills me with dread. I think we've had worse writers, we've had the worst artists. Please don't make this any worse, because seriously, this is that close to getting dropped. And finally for this section, because I've got a lot to get through, it's Green Arrow number 7. The cover by Cascioli, this cover here, is very nice. I actually like that. It's of poster wall quality. However, inside, Mike Mayhew's art. If you know anything about Mike Mayhew's art, if you've actually read this issue, I hope you agree with me. This does not suit this title at all. It's far too clean, it's far too crisp. Everyone's got perfect smooth skin. It's very, very scary. It's like they're all made out of plastic. Oh, when I opened the first page and I thought, okay, maybe we're going to change. This is like a dream sequence of a young Green Arrow seeing his parents being killed and mauled by lions. I thought, yes, it's a dream sequence. It'll change back. It'll get more gritty. But it doesn't. And it pretty much spoiled what was an interesting storyline. Again, it's what the problem with Green Arrow is. It needs a storyline that it can firmly attach onto, that's not anything to do with the Brightest Day, and just get on with it and progress it. What this basically issue is Green Arrow's effort to forgive himself, basically. He's been hard on himself for issue after issue after issue. So I think the only person who's going to give him that advice is Mummy Dearest, and she turns up as this white spirit. So whether that's got anything to do with the lantern, it's not alluded to, but certainly you could read between the lines that this has something to do with the White Lantern. So yeah, Ollie's mum's spirit comes in, she's going, come on, you know, Pick yourself up. You're all ready to forgive everyone else, but I think it's about time you started forgiving yourself. You didn't cause Mummy and Daddy's death, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's all a bit predictable. I like Green Arrow as a character. As this title, he isn't doing the best job. JT Krull, come on, pick yourself up, sort yourself out. Let's make this title as good as it should be. And that is it for the first part. Once you've watched this, once you've commented, once you've subscribed, once you've gone to my Twitter feed, which actually at the moment is suspended, I don't know why, but keep checking back. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.